Ed, do you know that we're part of the F.I.R.E network? Did you know that SoberPod is part of the F.I.R.E network?
I seen that. What is the F.I.R.E network, Carl?
Well, the F.I.R.E network is a conglomerate of. I love saying conglomerate. Who does it? And you know what? What it is we're going to be starting a sobriety. I guess it would be a sobriety network. We're going to be doing. Yeah. So it's Friends in Recovery Enterprises.
Yes,
what it's called. But so SoberPod is going to be a part of that, and Friends in Recovery Podcast is going to be a part of that.
Yes.
And what we're going to be looking for is to get other people a part of that network, and this will be a shared resource. So if you have a podcast that's based in recovery, or you have a platform that's based in recovery, so whether it's a website, an app, or I don't care whatever it is that's involved in recovery, if you want it to be a part of the F.I.R.E network, please contact help at Friends in Recovery
podcast.com. Friends in Recovery, help at friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. So,
and you can still contact info@soberpod.com, but I'm just going to refer you over to
either one, and I'll be all in the show notes. But Carl, you and I have been having this idea for a while, and we were kind of trying to put it all together, and now it's coming together where we're going to help a lot of people in one area. That's number one. Number two, if you have a podcast or a product, that's going to get your podcast out there amongst the other podcasts, amongst our website. It's just building this huge web or network that we're all going to be kind of working off of and promoting each other. So it's not really a give us your money and we'll expose you. This is going to be really kind of out there, and it's going to keep growing and growing and growing. As this network grows, your podcast should grow. That's what we're looking at. We're kind of what we're looking at doing.
Yeah, and because there's all different flavors of recovery, different styles of who we are, and some people like cussing, other people don't like cussing. Some people like some people like light beer, other people don't like light beer.
We don't like beer commercials on here.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that's the thing is that you'll be able to come as a listener or somebody who wants to participate in recovery, and then you can find people that are more in line with your flavor of recovery. Yes. So, and I think that's really important too. So not only is it, you'll be as a provider or content creator, you'll be able to kind of provide your flavor of recovery, but we're going to be such a wide ranging audience that you'll be able to find your level of recovery to consume.
Yeah. And again, guys, if you want some information on that, email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com, comment below, or soberpod.com. What's your email address, Carl?
info@soberpod.com.
info@soberpod.com. So all that'll be in the show notes. This is kind of a little kickoff of what we're going to be doing. More information to come, and we can sit down with each one of you and kind of go over individually what we can do. So
there you go.
That's it.
I think that's it. That's all we have to say. Done.
Stay sober, everybody. And what do you say?
Stay active, stay sober.
Stay active, stay sober, everybody.
See ya.
Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery Podcast. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, along with Carl D from SoberPod.
Hello.
What's up, Carl?
How you doing?
Pretty good. Thank you for jumping on here.
What are we talking about today? I forget what it is.
Well, we're going to be talking about Tradition 6 today, because today is the last Tuesday of the month, and the last Tuesday of each month, we talk about the tradition of that month. But before we talk about the tradition, I'd like to thank all of our supporters for who donated to Friends in Recovery to keep this show possible. And
because now we're officially getting donations, right?
We are officially getting donations. Yes.
Oh, that's awesome. And I say we as in like like you have a turd in your pocket or something.
Yeah.
I have a turd in my pocket.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I'm not really part of we, but you are now getting donations. Is that correct?
Well, not me. The Friends in Recovery is, so.
I get that part. That's what I was trying to say. Yes.
Friends in Recovery is, yes. So if you want to make
use guys is.
Oh, hey, we're getting donations. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Vinny, leave the donation over there. Okay. The car gets all nervous.
Donation when it sounds like Vinny. I like.
So, anyways,
it's really more of a command.
Yes, that is a command. Yes, that's how we do that out in the East Coast and in New Jersey, New York area. So, but so today's we're talking about tradition 6, and we'll get to that in a second. But the literature I'm going to be using today is going to be the 12 and 12. That's all I got for today. And we're also giving out a life recovery workbook this month. It's at the end of the month. We're going to pick somebody and send it out.
And
it is.
How do I get that, Ed?
How do you get it? Well, hold on. There's more important. It's autographed by Jersey Ed. Look at that, huh?
Oh my!
I know.
Gosh.
You don't know what this is worth, Carl. You don't know.
I would trade my panties for that book.
Yes, you. Oh, really? You won. Send me your panties.
So I'll send you my panties. Send your panties to P.O. Box. Blah, 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 blah.
That's right. That's right. So how do you get it? So basically, you want to comment below, or you want to send us an email, help at Friends in Recovery Podcast, saying you want to enter the contest, whatever. You'd like the life recovery workbook, and maybe give us a sob story and we'll send it out to you. So that's how you get that. So this is the last couple of days for the entry. So if you guys get that in, Carl, are you using any literature today?
I am only using the 12 and 12.
Okay. So go grab your 12 and 12s, everybody, because that's all we're using. I like to give a quick sober shout out to, of course, Sober Pod, guys. Sober Pod. You know anything about that show, Carl?
You're amazing.
It's amazing.
You know, the part of the F.I.R.E. network. That's so they're part of the friend. Yeah, they're part of the Friends in Recovery Enterprises network now.
I know.
It's kind of cool. So again, if you guys have been listening, you guys you also have a recovery based entity, I guess. Dude, reach out, contact us. We have some literature to send you regarding being a part of the F.I.R.E. network. Actually, we have words in paper, or in digital, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we do. So no, we can send you an email with all the deets, yo.
So if you have a podcast, or if you have an app or whatever that has to do with recovery, the F.I.R.E. network is where you want to be. So just send us an email, help at Friends in Recovery Podcast, or info@soberpod.com, and we will get you that information out. So also, I'd like to just say hello to Joe over at Dayton Strong Recovery 101. He has his show going pretty good, and I just like to say hello to him. He's going to want to be
a part of the F.I.R.E. network.
Absolutely. So, all right, Carl.
Hold on, I got dogs barking over here. Can you hear this? They're
no,
like
I can't
growling.
hear the dog. No.
I mean, they're like going at it. It's like I'm just like, oh man, like this is like just.
Welcome to the Pit Bull podcast.
Welcome to the den.
That's right. As you can tell, this is not a normal Friends in Recovery show today. When you get Carl and I together, we say we're going to talk about Tradition 6, but we'll
what
see.
What are we talking about again?
I don't know. Fire? I don't know.
It's funny because it's the traditions that are. Oh yeah, we didn't really do. Do we have anything more to cover up front? Do we have to say anything more? I usually do like more of like Friends in Recovery Adventures or the Friends.
No, we not go that. The only thing is go to our website, friendsandrecoverycommunity.org. Get us on Facebook, Instagram, Telegram, TikTok, and Snapchat. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. That's the important part, because as I was listening on to another podcast called Sober Pod, right?
Which we don't do very often. We don't do that very often. We don't ask people to subscribe, which is so weird.
You do now. You should.
Well, we started to, because it was like, well, our whatever our stats, our subscribe stats started to drop. And
drop down,
everybody likes to see things go up. Nobody likes to see things go down. So, but here's the best part.
Yeah, but you can't keep it up all the time. You have to take a break once in a while.
That's what she said. So
told you show's going to go the wrong fucking way.
But our total our listens for like our total listens or whatever, like each day has gone, like, it's so strange. So our subscriptions went down, but our listens went up, which is, I don't even know. So like nobody's subscribing, but they're listening. So, which is kind of strange to think about. So I guess maybe people just can't find that subscribe button anymore, or they just don't care to, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, if you're listening to the show, whatever podcast aggregator app, whatever that you're using, whether it be like, Spotify, I don't care if it's Podbean or Apple Podcasts or Google, whatever, just go follow, subscribe, like, amend, I don't know, trail, connect, whatever, how to like, I don't know, thumbs up your butt. I don't
hit one of those buttons, guys.
Hit one of those buttons.
Because Carl sees my stats, so we have to make it look like we have a lot of listeners. Yeah, I know.
And here's the thing: I only send Ed the stats when it's on the up. You know what I'm saying?
That's right,
and if it's like down 6%, I'm like, I'm not going to send this to Ed.
Not this month.
Not going to matter.
God. Carl, you know what time it is?
It's time to get funky.
It's close, but
question of the week.
So, Carl, it's the question of the week.
Flames in the broken glass. Oh.
That is great, guys. I wonder who does that for us. It's cool though, whoever does it.
Cool dude. Whoever sat there and upgraded that.
I wonder if they charged us for that.
Yeah, give that dude a job. Give that dude a job. He deserves a job.
That's right. Really. Exactly. Where can you send your resume to, Carl?
Yeah, exactly.
If anybody wants Carl's resume, our producer's resume. So the question of the week, guys, this week, what's the dumbest way you've been hurt physically? I think that's a good question. I think it's a loaded question, especially for us in recovery, because I probably have a plethora of ways I've got hurt when I was using. And when I read this question, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna bring this up because this is a good question for me to remember those days. We got to keep it green and keep it clean. And I don't want to do that stupid shit anymore. I'm older where if I get hurt, it takes a little bit longer for me to recover now, and so I'm very cautious on what I do and how I do it and all that. So Carl, what was the dumbest way you ever got hurt? Tell the wonderful people.
Drunk or not drunk?
I say drunk. Let's say drunk. Okay. I say drunk.
Because in my first year of sobriety, I'm going to just cut it to the quick. I thought I was like going to be like, young and bouncing around one of those bouncy places. Yeah. And I jumped head first into a foam pit and fucking cracked my neck. And I heard it crack. And I was like, it's never been the same since, actually. I'm still experiencing some long-term problems with that. But when I was drinking, it was probably like I want to say about 2 years before I got sober, or 2 years before. Yeah, probably about 2 years before I got sober. I was drinking one evening. I was fighting with my wife. Hey, if you can't relate, then whatever. I was fighting with my wife, and I was sitting outside smoking a cigarette and drinking vodka, right? And I was just steaming. You could just get super fucking steaming. I was just like, and I went into this like, you could just feel it coming up in you like a rage. It's just like, oh my God. And then, so I'm sitting there and I'm next to this trash can outside smoking. It's one of those trash cans, that you bring out to the street. And it's these big plastic ones now.
Yeah.
And I'm I'm smoking and I'm fucking raging and it's building up inside me. I'm like sitting there like that fucking bitch. And all of a sudden I just fucking elbowed this fucking trash can, like just boom. And the thing is, there's like a little ridge on the trash can.
Yeah.
And it hit right in my funny bone area.
Oh, man.
Oh, and here's the thing. It fucking hurt so bad. And I was like, oh, God damn it, I hurt so bad that I was pissed at myself for doing it. So then I did it again. Right? I was
I'll show you.
Oh, yeah. I'm shit. Fuck. It's like, it's such an alcoholic thing to do. Like, you hurt yourself and then you hurt yourself over hurting yourself.
Yeah.
It just seems. So I was inside in my couch laying there going, I think I got to go to the emergency room. I was cold sweating. It hurt so bad. And then my wife walks by like, that'll serve you right. That kind of shit. Yeah. You drive yourself to the damn emergency room.
Uber to the fucking emergency room, asshole.
Then,
Oh my God.
years later, I was getting it examined, right? And they were doing and then they gave me these questions like, have you ever had an injury? And honestly, I couldn't remember. So I'm like, nope. And then literally leaving the place, I was like, it just like kind of came back to me. Like I was like, oh shit, yeah, no, yeah, I did do that.
Can I rewrite that?
Yeah. Can I go back in and talk to him about that? Well, I told him the next time I went in. But
did you ever break it or anything, or did you break it, or did you go to the hospital?
So what I ended up doing was I compressed the nerve in there. So I damaged it so badly that it that it was causing my hands to cramp up.
Oh my God!
Because so then I had to have ulnar nerve surgery to replace
to
move the nerve.
Slamming the fucking garbage can.
Yeah,
because you were
so
drunk.
Then I had to move the nerve to the inside of my arm because that it was compressed and it was damaged. Yeah, I had damaged the nerve.
So there you go. That's a pretty fucking dumb way to get hurt, man.
Yeah. All myself, man. All myself.
That's right. Exactly. Well, my stupid way of getting hurt was it wasn't as dramatic. It was very kind of low key.
You say I was drama, you motherfucker.
That's why I put you on here, to stir up some drama. Jesus Christ. So we were
lucky you're on the East Coast, you motherfucker.
That's right. Yo, Vinny, come here. So we were at the Delaware Water Gap. There's an amazing hike. You go up this ridge and you go around. It's like a 5-mile hike. Go to this beautiful lake, come down. And there's this waterfall. Like you can slide down. It's like a slide, like a natural slide that drops you into this.
It's all stone and everything.
Yeah. It was okay. It's cool. So everybody does it. So we had our backpack.
You're drinking or not drinking?
Drinking.
Okay.
Drinking and driving on the way up there, a 2-hour drive. Drinking, like my friend John would say, orange vodka with a little bit of orange juice in it. We were drinking at the time, and then we had a couple beers. So we're hiking up the mountain a little ways up the mountain to get to this water slide. Before we wanted to get refreshed, get wet, and then do the 5-mile hike. Drunk, of course, and
because nothing like hiking when you're drunk.
That's right. You don't remember it, but it's fun, I guess. I don't know. So I'm drinking a beer. So we get to this waterfall. Nobody's there. I go to put my beer down. I slip. I drop the beer, and I picked up all the glass, and I put it in my backpack. We did the water slide, went down. We started hiking around, right? Hiked all the way around, did the hike, came back to the waterfall because it's in the loop. I went to go slide down the slide again to get, kind of wake up a little bit, because by this time I'm freaking wasted, I guess. And I slip and I fall, and I left a piece of glass. It cut my back. There's blood all over the place. I'm like, John, is it bad? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I'm like, I didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. So we get to his car. I have a towel wrapped around me. The towel is all red at that point. So we're sitting there. He's like, Ed, when you're walking, it's opening and closing. I'm like, what? Nice. So we started drinking a little bit more. We jump in his car. We go to dinner. Like, I wrapped this towel around me. We go to dinner and we eat dinner. I'm like, maybe we should get to a hospital. He's like, yeah. He goes, I think we should have gone to a hospital a while ago. So we go to the hospital, 10 stitches in and 10 stitches out. The doctor's like, nice. What are you, crazy? I'm like, so that was just a stupid way of getting hurt. So anyways, that's my.
It was your glass that you didn't pick up to begin with, right? Yes, from the first time.
It was my glass I did not pick up.
Yeah, there you go.
That's karma.
Being a reckless alcoholic.
That's right. Exactly. Drinking beer on the mountain. So, all right, let's get the show started here. Let's talk about Tradition 6, because we got 10 minutes to talk about it, Carl.
Oh, no. Dude, Tradition 6 is almost nothing, right?
Yeah.
What is it now? It's an AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. First of all, what is our primary purpose, Ed?
To stay sober, help another alcoholic.
And that's it, right? Because unless we're doing that, everything else is a distraction.
Absolutely, yes. So our primary purpose is to help another alcoholic and addict. But I'm going to cut it right to the chase, right? So I work for a treatment center. Everybody knows that. And we have AA that comes in. We talk about AA. I mean, this tradition 6 is a little bit kind of.
It can be a little,
yes,
like misunderstood, I guess, is the other thing.
So
too,
why
right?
does AA lend the name to like a treatment center? Like they do.
AA is not lending. AA is not lending their name to the treatment center. It doesn't say Genesis House, a conglomerate of AA. It's not like the F.I.R.E. network.
That's exactly. F.I.R.E. network, guys. Send us an email too.
By the F.I.R.E. network. It's supported by AA. So and that's the thing is it's not AA is not lending itself to a treatment center at that point.
The treatment center is taking it basically.
Well, let's just say AA is not endorsing.
Yes.
The treatment center on that level. So, and they're not lending the name. Basically, they don't get to have the name AA associated with that treatment center. No treatment center gets that.
That's true.
Right?
But if you didn't go to a treatment center, half the world probably wouldn't hear of AA. We're a 12 based. We're an AA, or a 12-step based treatment center, because it even goes into the tradition 6 and the 12 and 12 that you shouldn't even use the 12-step based words. I forgot where it is in here. It's I read it before, but it says they don't even want you to use the 12-step words because I guess AA invented or has the corner on it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in terms of that. Because definitely other groups have been started.
Yeah.
And they also abide by, similar traditions, for reasons. But they are not to lend the AA name, is what I understand. Just like, again, tradition 6 is pretty straightforward. I think one of the things that's interesting to know about all this stuff really is that they, initially, like, I love the history of this in the 12 and 12 that talked about like what AA actually, they made a lot of mistakes early on. They thought that they were going to, because no hospitals wanted to deal with people in AA. So really what they thought that they would do is like they would take the AA name and everything that they had done as a group, and then they would apply that to like its own drunk hospitals and its own like mental health clinics. And because if you can't, because it and it should because if AA worked for, drinking, well, certainly it can work for other mental disorders, right?
Absolutely.
And so again, and I think that's why tradition 6 appears to here to say it's like, if we get involved with these other things, that it will divert us from our primary purpose.
To keep people sober.
Yeah, again,
but the primary purpose is to keep people sober. So why didn't they put a treatment center together? Like I don't understand that. That was kind of like the weird thing. Why didn't they put a treatment center together?
Well, part of the history is that they if there's like a book like Alcoholics Anonymous Comes of Age, and they actually did have plans for those things, and they did have like some talk about that stuff. Wow. And I think that they actually they actually tried to float something out there. If you go back in some of the history, that they were trying to get funding to do these larger things.
Wow. Okay.
But thank God it didn't happen.
Yeah, right. I know.
And then one of the things that they even talked about in the 12 and 12, there's a nice story around it, which is that at some point a beverage company was trying to get a spokesperson involved with
AA beer.
Well, yeah, I think, I don't know who it was. It could have been Budweiser for all I know. But they were trying, again, it was part of, and it was before the Drink Responsibly campaigns. So this is way back in the day. And they wanted to borrow like the equity that AA had in terms of its sobriety and say like, drink responsibly. And by the way, we're, AA agrees with us. Like, if you have a problem, come to AA and like, but if you're just if you're a heavy drinker, it's okay. Just drink responsibly, that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, so, Kathy, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So I just think it's interesting that stuff appears in the 12 and 12 is kind of like, as part of that history of AA. It's like it's in there a little bit. It doesn't go into a lot of detail about it, but it really does get the flavor of what AA could have gone on to be
a different
or
direction.
Yeah, and and thank goodness that it didn't, because there's also the other stuff in terms of AA. It's like when we talk about monies for AA, AA is now, with these traditions, it's designed to be poor. Like literally, AA is designed to have no
money. Yeah. Like that's what Kathy said. Kathy C. She said they were poor and still are. You're right. They were designed. Well, I mean, because of tradition 6, you don't want to build up a bankroll so you can lend the AA name to not even a treatment center. But think about it. I mean, if it went to the money way and not to the way it is now,
to the altruism, as in what
exactly.
the program was intended for. Yeah,
exactly. I don't think it would be so true. I don't think there would be so much heart and soul into it. Listen, we do all this stuff for free, even our podcast. We don't
motherfuckers. So give us your money, send us your donations, and then we'll be.
God damn it! No, but I mean, $1. Now the basket was designed. I don't know if you know this or not. The basket was designed to leave $1 or take $1 way back when. So I mean, they weren't racking in the money; they were racking in just money to pay the rent so they can have the church. And I'm sure.
And again, even as it goes to this stuff, Friends in Recovery is not AA. Silver Pot is not AA. And again, we just make it very clear, like, if somebody I'll tell you what, if somebody came along tomorrow and said, hey, we want to give, Silver Pot $100,000 a month, I would be like, absolutely, we're doing that. Like, so let's not fool anybody here.
That's right.
I don't have a job right now. I am, so just FYI.
That's right.
But again, I still would have the same intentions that I do now, even though it doesn't make money. And I think that's important to say, is that my intention is to help when we do our stuff. That's the only intention.
So sober pot is kind of like poor.
Well, yeah, Silver Pot is definitely in that respect. We're definitely just like
same thing with us.
Very poor. Yeah. So
we had a 50-cent donation the other day. So I'm like,
nailed it. So
Thanks, Carl.
Yeah, you're welcome. No, but I'm not opposed to asking for money in this kind of sense, because the fact is, it's like, yeah, you're right. It is like that. It's taking the basket and passing the basket.
Exactly.
We do 4 episodes a month, which is on average, people would be putting in like $1 like per episode or per meeting, right? So we don't, again, and we ask for like what, $2 a month to be part of the members only section.
That's right. Yeah.
But we provide more value, and you do the same stuff too.
Exactly.
It's like you're providing way much more value. So neither here nor there. But here's the thing: the money that we raise really gets put back into doing more episodes, spreading more message, doing more content, and all that stuff. So really. And I think at some point, if we were to start to do gangbusters and had like a reserve of cash, like I can guarantee you that money would not be like going into my pocket.
No. There's all kinds of plans if we can get this going. The F.I.R.E network, the Friends in Recovery.
But let's just go back into the tradition here. So here's the thing: if this was AA, now for instance, a whole different story. But because AA is international. And because of AA, it has, thousands of meetings, going on a daily basis with, thousands of dollars being flowing into, AA. Again, that's the, the problem becomes, it's like, for instance, what I really like about this stuff is like the clubs, for instance, like, we have Al-Anon clubs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they can't even use the AA name in that sense, too.
Yeah.
So, and they're responsible for their own monies as well.
Yeah.
So, the money that's used for AA in those contexts, really, it goes to pay the rent.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the time,
minimal stuff. I think in New York, the office, they think they have a couple workers that get paid, and that's it. Like, I mean, it's very minimal
administration stuff. And you have the library kind of stuff, or the documentarians, and all those other types of things that they manage all that stuff.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Again, but that's what we pay for. It's not like anybody's getting rich by any means.
No, definitely not.
So,
no.
Yeah,
well, let me ask you this: on your show, at the beginning of the show, you do a PSA for AA.
Yeah.
So now, what did you put that together? Or is that put together by AA? I'm like that's lending the name to even a PSA is lending the name, right?
So again, they are not lending themselves. It's a PSA, period.
Okay.
It is, and they are not lending the name. I literally took it from the site without being provoked or solicited.
Okay.
So I took those. They're there for people to use if they would like to use them. By the way, it's a complete choice for SoberPod to use those or not. I could literally just not do it anytime I feel like it.
Well, if you haven't heard of it, maybe you could put that ad in here real quick so we can tell them what we're talking about.
Which one do you want to put in there? And it's like, I slept around a lot, and then that's why I had to go to AA. Do you like that?
Put that one in there. No, but if you listen to it, you'll know what we're talking about. As far as that goes, or you can go to SoberPod and listen to the beginning of the show.
Let's make it very clear. AA is not lending their name. I, as far as made a decision personally when I was at the website to grab those files, bring them down, and use them because, let me just say this much, because personally, AA changed my life, and I am doing what I think is appropriate for being in SoberPod, right? Like, we could talk about other things of recovery and all this other stuff, but you know what? For me, AA worked. So therefore, I'm going to promote it, period.
Absolutely.
And again, AA is not promoting it. They just created the commercial, right?
But it's here if you want it. They're not calling Carl up and saying, "Hey, SoberPod, go put your show up. Put this on our show. We'll give you $100 or whatever." And it just doesn't work that way.
And again, they're not lending the name to us.
Yes,
right? That's it. Yeah. So I think it's very clear in terms of traditions.
So what I don't know if you understand it or not, but less problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our less problems, money. Does that mean if there's a problem with their money or property, they'll sell to? I don't understand that.
So less stands in case, right? So in case, so in average language. So if we were going to say less problems of money, so in case problems of money, property, and prestige divert from our primary purpose. So what you're saying is, it's like, we can't do this because in doing so would get in the way because all these other things. Because just in case, because money might be a problem, property might be a problem, and prestige might be a problem, because those are all the things that start to come up when you start doing anything but acting from a point of taking away from spirituality or altruism, right? Because what does it talk about in AA? It talks about, like, we operate on an altruistic or spiritual planes. That's where we are supposed to be doing our work, quote unquote. So, and in no time does it say, that we operate on a financial plane.
No, not at all.
At no time does it say we operate on a real estate, I don't know, brackets or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? So these are the things that we don't operate on. So that's what I understood it to mean in terms of less means in case, these things are a problem.
In case,
so,
exactly.
And that's why we don't do it, because it potentially could end up being a problem.
Exactly. So we don't want to be diverted from our primary purpose, which is staying sober, helping another alcoholic and addict, because then we have to worry about, okay, are we making money this month? Did we sell the t-shirts? Did whatever, did we pay the rent? Are we getting the suite at the conference? So none of that is brought up in any of these meetings. It's just pass a basket. If you got $1, put one in. If you don't, then pass it to the next person. I mean, it's simple,
So again, so even if you're an AA group, for instance, and you are like, you're in the church basement, you guys are collecting, I don't know, you guys are in the rich part of town. You guys are collecting, I don't know, $400 a meeting, let's just say, right? Wow. Let's just say your church rent is $100, for the month, right? So you basically, you're making some bank, right? And then you decide, as one of the members goes, we should put this money to good use, right? We are AA, we should put this money to good use. Our AA group is called, I don't know, EastEnders, whatever. EastEnders is going to then sponsor a detox center, right? So our EastEnders group is going to, somebody nominates things, say, during their group conscience, we want EastEnders to support the detox. We have an extra $1,000 a month that can go to that stuff, right? Do you think that violates Tradition 6?
Yeah.
Well, how does that violate Tradition 6?
Because AA is taking the money or they're endorsing something that's not part of AA. I'd have to imagine. I mean,
well, first of all, it's an AA group, right? So even though it's not AA corporate, WSO, whatever you want to call it, right? World Services Organization, your individual group, your 5 dudes that gets together in a church basement, literally can break Tradition 6 pretty quickly like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's something that can happen.
Yeah.
So, and then when begins this misunderstanding about what AA's purpose is, about what AA does in the community, who it helps, and how they help them. But just by doing that, you can really muddle the message of what AA
could. So, let me ask you this: when you get when you break your money off to intergroup and World Services and all that, and what you have left, you pay the rent, and then I was never a treasurer, so I don't know much about it. What is allowed and not allowed to do with that money? That's actually a good. You brought up. Can you donate to Habitat for Humanity or? I don't know,
absolutely not. Absolutely
I don't know.
No, you can't because because here's the thing, is there's, believe it or not, there's plenty to do with that money all upstream, right? As it goes from your group
literature,
to your area, right? to your area representatives, to your. I mean, again. There's people who, they use that money all the way through, through the line, right?
Yeah.
And so as part of your group, it is standard or customary that you have 2 months prudent reserve to pay your rent. And 2 months means, how much money it takes to run your group for 2 months. So if it costs your group $100 a month, your prudent reserve would be what?
$200.
$200.
Wow.
Right? There you go.
Hey, I passed math.
Yeah. So plain and simple stuff. And then the rest of that stuff gets passed on to your area groups and then goes through regional into national.
So if you make $500 a month, your rent is $200, $100 a month. You need 2 months reserve. So you send the $300 and
it gets sent off to basically what they call the 5 entities.
Okay.
So and I would have to go through the service structure manual because there is a manual for that too, by the way.
Wow.
So if you've never known that, so you can go to aa.org, and there is actually updated their the manual, which is super cool. Because it used to just look like.
I didn't even know. I thought
it used to look like this 1950s thing. And now they've actually somebody updated it, and there is a service manual that covers all this structure. I think it was just updated recently.
Wow, I'm gonna have to check it out. Kathy C said literature, coffee, rent, etc. I guess all that has to be in there too. The coffee it takes. I mean,
oh yeah. What it takes to run your group.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you do like celebration, a monthly celebration, you have to buy all the food for that. Whatever, I guess it takes a little bit to run a group. I don't know, because we do all of our Friends in Recovery stuff on the Zoom right now.
Yeah, as I'm looking at it like a PDF of general service conference structure. They pretty much have you have the group GSR, you have the district committees, you have the area assemblies, you have delegates to the general service conference, and then under conference committees, you have agenda, finance, corrections, literature, trustees, cooperation with professional community, treatment and accessibilities, public information, policy admissions, archives, international conventions, AA regional forums, Grapevine, and La Vina, and then report and charter. And then the trustees committees are conference, finance and budgetary, corrections, literature, nomination. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So they have all this stuff in terms of the structure, in terms of AA.
So that's where our dollars or $2 or $5 go to.
I mean, if you think about it, just even like doing a copy or, for all these things, or, handing out 15 brochures, I mean, or just like,
the literature. 15, the literature,
if you have an agenda for a meeting, you need to print, you need ink for the printer, for crying out loud.
That's true. Or even what if you're a 12 and 12 meeting, you have to buy Kathy said that they have 80 to 85 people at their AM meeting. You got to buy 85 books for 85 people to read it, right?
Exactly. If that's your meeting, or bring your own book, right? That's
bring your own book.
Yeah, that's how it works.
But some people can't even. I know when I walked into the rooms, I couldn't even afford $1. I couldn't afford money. I look forward to these books being there. You know what I mean? And that's another part of it. We have to help the people who can't help themselves until they get back on their feet, and that's where this all comes in from. All comes into. Also,
I think what this tradition really does do is it helps to stop the do-gooder attitude that can overwhelm us sometimes, is in an AA group. And really what it does is it keeps us focused on what is and what isn't not, part of our, part of our primary purpose. And it keeps us focused on the alcoholic, who's in the rooms. Yeah. And it keeps our group focused. It keeps, because again, we all know that, as we do better, everybody around us does better. And that's just kind of how it works. So, I don't want to, get too far into it, but what I do want to do is to say, I know that we haven't done the tradition justice necessarily. I get that, but because we're just dudes, but there are very much like materials out there. And if you're interested in becoming more of service in terms of really helping, maintain that structure and keeping AA alive as it is when you found it, right? It's like, definitely get involved with the service structure, because it's something that it has many rewards, and there are many positions that do, nobody's going to be screaming your name from a rooftop. You'd be lucky if somebody give you a mention at one of those committees, but there are things to do that you will feel rewarded by, and that aren't necessarily going to get you're not going to get the attaboy pats on the back, but you will feel pretty good about doing what you do.
And that's what AA is about our primary purpose, helping another addict alcoholic. I don't go around boasting, hey, I spoke to so-and-so today. He was all fucked up. I talked him off the ledge and blah, blah, blah.
Aren't I great?
It's like, look at me, No, but it's about helping. What it's about making ourselves feel better, because, and I know we have to end here in a minute, but when I was drinking, I felt like crap. I never helped anybody except for myself. Matter of fact, I tried to steal from you, whatever you had, I tried to get.
From me? You motherfucker.
That's right, I did. The other thing about Tradition 6 too, it's very short, it's very simple, and it's pretty much to the point. If you read the short, or the short version of it at the beginning, it's pretty much to the point. It tells us exactly what we can and can't do. And I think we tried here a little bit to go into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah. And they do give examples of how it can get out of hand. So please go and read it on the 12 and 12, because it will really give you. So here's the thing. So when you are in your group and that dude says, hey, we should go fund that detox, you'll be the first one to be able to say, like, I don't think that's a good idea. Yeah. You know what I mean? Have you read the 12 and 12?
Yes, exactly. Well, Carl, great show. Thank you for filling in for my two lovely co-hosts. You need some hair. Maybe next time you can, there you go. But anything you want to plug? Because we are not AA.
Just my asshole, Ed. Just my asshole.
Oh my God. Sorry. No, Sorry, just you're show-wise. You want to talk about about Chelsea? I don't know anything besides that.
Actually, if there's a shout out, Chelsea has been awesome. She's put up with my shit. I really enjoy having, again, she's younger gal going to school, doing nursing, for crying out loud. Like, that's like such a hard thing to even consider getting into. She works really hard, and she does the show as well. And I'm just so grateful that, like, I know that it's kind of like my baby carrying it around a little bit, but just that she participates and jumps in, which we're supposed to be doing in about 5 minutes ago.
There you go.
But just that she participates and jumps in. I just love it. I think she's just got a lot going on. So,
So listen to SoberPod, guys. Listen, just any podcast catcher, listen to them.
Especially listen to Chelsea on SoberPod. Don't listen to Carl. Don't listen to me. Just listen to
don't listen to Carl. Listen to Chelsea's the one who knows everything over there. Yeah, so. But Tradition 6, we beat it up pretty good. It's like I said, it's a very short tradition. do some research on this stuff, guys, because there is history behind it. Look it up. Don't take our word for it. This is just our view of what we think it is. That's all it is. And we know by the 12 and 12 and what we read and listened to and what we experienced throughout our time in sobriety.
Just two more bald guys in AA,
That's it, man. That's it.
That's a dime a dozen right there, boy.
That's it. That's it. So, guys, Carl, thank you so much. And what do you say on your way out?
Well, I say stay active, stay sober. Chelsea says deuces. What do you say?
Stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.